Imagine a tiny basement cafe in Tokyo where you can sit in a specific chair and travel back in time. Sounds amazing, right? But here is the catch. No matter what you see in the past, the present will not change. If someone died, they stayed dead. If relationship ended, it stays broke. And one more thing, you have to drink your coffee before it gets cold. If you don't, you become a ghost trapped in that chair forever. This is the heartbreaking, beautiful premise of Toshikazu Kawaguchi's Before the Coffee Gets Cold series. And it started as a tiny Japanese stage play and transformed into a massive multi-million copy global phenomenon. As of 2026, there are 6 books in the US. And if you have been waiting to dive into this series but don't know where to start, or if you want to know which books are actually worth your time, you are in the right place. Today we are reviewing the entire series, breaking down the strange timeline and ranking the most emotional stories. Now let's get into it. To truly understand why these books hit so differently, you have to understand the author, Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and he was originally a playwright and director. And when you read these books, you can feel the theater background. The setting almost never changes. There are no flashy special effects. It's just raw. The character driven dialogue happening within the 4 walls of a cozy cafe that was called the Funiculi Funicula. Now, why do people travel in time if they can't change reality? Because here the Kawakuchi understands a profound truth about human nature that we don't always need to change the past. Sometimes we just need closure. The first book introduces us to the cafe, the ghost who hovers over the time travel seat, and the stoic cafe worker Kasu, who pours the magical coffee. And it features 4 distinct stories. The standout here is a story about a husband with early onset Alzheimer's who forgot his wife, and she goes back in time to receive a letter he wrote in her before his memory faded. And this book is a solid 5 out of 5 stars, and it sets the golden standard for what healing fiction should be. Then about the book two, the second book, that was the Tales from the Cafe. Here it introduces the male perspectives into the mix. We get a heartbreaking story of a man who travels back to see his best friend who died 22 years ago, and then his son who missed his mother's funeral. If you love the book one or the first book, the second book gives you more exactly what you want, and it helps you diving deeper into the lives of the cafe workers themselves. The third one, that was the Before Your Memory Fades. For book 3, here Kawaguchi shakes things up. We leave Tokyo and head to a hillside cafe in Hakodate, Japan, called cafe that was Dona Dona. And same time travel rules there, but a completely new atmosphere. And this book deals with the survivor's guilt and finding the will to live after losing someone you love. It's mostly the most somber book in this series. Then about the fourth, fifth, and the sixth books. The fourth one was the Before We Say Goodbye. Then the fifth, that was the Before We Forget Kindness, and the latest 2026 one was the sixth one, that was Before I Knew I Loved You. These are actually prequels and midquels because this series was originally meant to be a trilogy, and Kawaguchi started writing backward in time to fill the gaps of the Tokyo Cafe history. So let you know that the fourth book, that was the Before We Say Goodbye, that was about the features a devastating story about a husband whose wife falls into a vegetative state. Then the fifth one, that was Before We Forgot Kindness, feature that was touches a familial regrets like a father who couldn't stop his daughter from marrying. Then the sixth one, that was Before I Knew I Loved You. That was bring us an incredible stories of unspoken love, including a girl trying to reconcile with a mother she never fully accepted. So, looking at the series as a whole, what makes it so special? It's the ultimate comfort read. It's short and it's fast-paced, and it tackles massive themes like what grief, death, and regret in a way that feels like a warm hug rather than a lecture. But I have completely honest with you guys, the series does have a flow because it's written like a play, and Kawaguchi repeats the rules of the cafe constantly. In almost every single chapters across all six books, the characters explain the time travel rules over and over again. And if you been read these books back to back, it can feel a bit repetitive. My advice that space them out. Read one every few months with a real cup of warm coffee. If I had to rank the entire series from best to slightly less great, this was my list. I think the masterpiece one, that was the first book, that was the Before the Coffee Gets Cold, and the second book, that from the Tale from the Cafe. These two books have very strongest emotional core. Then the comfort book, that was the sixth one, that was Before I Knew I Loved You, and the fourth book, that was Before We Say Goodbye. Here, the character arcs here are incredibly satisfying. Then the melancholy tire, or the melancholy one, that was the third book, and the fifth one. The third book, that was the Before Your Memory Fades, and the fifth one, that was Before We Forget Kindness. These ones are the excellent but incredibly heavy on tire jerking meat.